any major pieces or any voting
We
on
could.
any legislation.
Technically could, though.
You could, but I wouldn't recommend it because.
Noted.
Oh,
I said noted.
okay. All right. Yeah, pretty much it.
All right, well, we're live. I mean, someone could motion right now if they wish. Mr. President,
hmm Senator Sanders,
motion to open up the Senate for a business quorum.
is there any objection? If no objection, it is so ordered.
The clerk notes.
Mr. President,
Senator Sanders.
I rise to the floor today to offer the beginning spot to my good friend and chairman of the Ukraine Select Committee. I think if anyone should give the first word, it should be him. And I would offer the floor to my friend from New Columbia, Senator Cawthorn.
Senator Cawthorn is recognized.
Mr. President.
Senator Sanders.
All right. Well, he can't talk right now.
Okay.
However, before I go forward, I guess I'll open it up to the two other senators who weren't a part of the select committee to say a few words before someone from the committee itself actually does, since everyone's been privy to the information. All right. Well, seeing none, I suppose I'll just go
Hold on,
forward.
this is breaking up.
Did you say I'm breaking up? Is that what you said?
Yes, yes, I did. I don't know if it was me or if it was you. I think it may have been. I don't know.
Am I still breaking up?
No.
Okay. Well, Mr. President, I come to the floor today as a member of the Select Committee, someone who put a lot of work and effort into the report that was just released earlier today, to say that what the Select Committee uncovered of the behavior in the administration was deeply disturbing. And the crimes laid out in that report, I believe, are the crimes which happened. Those crimes should be pursued by the Speaker of the House and subsequently the House of Representatives with an impeachment inquiry as soon as possible. And I call on Speaker Nixon to do that. What's clear here, even putting aside all of the behavioral issues, which I don't think you can do, is that the President, the Vice President, and the Secretary of Defense, knowingly or unknowingly, the evidence suggests the former, that knowingly or unknowingly, that they subverted Congress and used military force without approval from this branch. That is, in my mind and in the mind of everyone on the select committee, completely unacceptable. This is not a party issue. I think the President pro temp was diligent and very well thought out in deciding to put all spectrums from the political spectrum on this committee. And look, just the facts. The facts are the facts. The president subverted Congress and authorized 150,000 plus U.S. troops in Ukraine without our approval. Unacceptable. Now, there's been conversation about the crimes done by the Vice President and the Secretary of Defense, and I do believe that we should hold them to account. But we cannot, the buck stops, as has been said by so many presidents in DES and out of DES. The buck stops with the president. And we can't let the conversation get diluted. The president is the person who holds the utmost responsibility here. No matter what may have happened, no matter who coerced who, the decision was made to subvert Congress inside the administration. And at the end of the day, when the president knows about that decision, the buck stops with him. Now, to go on to the behavior that was displayed there, the other more disturbing aspects of this, and Mr. President, I see you sitting up there presiding over this chamber, and it's definitely uncomfortable to say this to you in person, and I have no quarrel saying that. I have no ills saying that. It's 100% uncomfortable. I mean, you're a good friend of mine. I know you're a good person and a good intentioned person. However, you did try to, the evidence is clear. No matter what you said, the holes were lacking, and I'm sure in further hearings we'll get, and you'll have a chance to elaborate on what those holes may be. No matter the holes, it's pretty clear what's going on here, with context, without context. You tried to subvert the president and make executive decisions without the president's approval, while the president was completely in the capacity to make those decisions. I mean, that's ill-advised at the very least, illegal at worst, and I think the report does a good job in outlining this as high crimes and misdemeanors. And I'll be frank, I was the person in the committee to say, holy shit, this was high crimes and misdemeanors. I mean, I'm the one that pointed out the specific crime here, and I think that it's just blatantly obvious what's going on. The evidence solidified that, and what we learned in testimony solidified that even further. The Secretary of Defense, to add on to that, also tried to subvert the precedent, allowing the Vice President to make executive decisions without...
Briefly, the President just fired the Secretary of Defense, so...
Well, I think that's I appreciate that from the president. Thank you, Tom, for saying that. But he did. The Secretary of Defense did just tried to help the Vice President in some way in subverting President Terry's authority. That is unacceptable, and I applaud the president while he is still at fault here for taking action on that. However, the problem lies much deeper than that, as I've laid out here, and accountability must be taken. External accountability must happen. It's just kind of absurd, if we're being honest. And I hate to say, I told you so. So I won't. But look, it's just 70,000 troops died. Not to mention the tens of thousands of civilians who died in this operation. You have people in the United States Senate and the United States House with extensive foreign policy backgrounds. Senator Cawthorn being one, Senator Jones being another, and I'd like to credit myself with some foreign policy background as well. The fact that people who have been trusted with security clearances before weren't trusted with security clearances in this situation, weren't trusted with their advice and consent, and the process was completely subverted, is dereliction of duty. And as the report lays out, a number of things border treason here. All of this could have been avoided through transparency, through allowing security clearances to those members which have in the past, not just to this administration, but to others. Senator Cawthorn's administration specifically, and he can concur what I'm saying here greatly because he knows, being in the Senate in that time, I know he did it well. You can confer with people who have extensive backgrounds on the issue, avoiding such a crisis as this. But there was complete lack of competency shown in this event, which led to the deaths of tens of thousands of members of our armed forces and tens of thousands of people in the Ukraine. And quite possibly could lead to the loss of the Ukraine. It very well could possibly lead to Russia's control of the Ukraine. If that's not treason, I don't know what is. And I could talk about this for hours. I'm infuriated. But with that, Mr. President, I do want a motion, not for we can begin the vote here, but I think it should be posted in Senate voting, just so it's actually real and outside of the business quorum. I motion for a Senate resolution to recommend to the Speaker that an impeachment inquiry take place and move forward expeditiously.
Is there an objection?
I object. Just one moment, if you will, Mr. Chair. May I have the floor?
Senator is recognized.
Thank you. First of all, I only object because I have a point to say before we move forward. Actually, a few points. Now, I think all this whole situation boils down to personal vendettas, to the most part. I mean, we look at it. There's histories to whoever is involved, and frankly, I don't think anyone's trusting of each other in the administration, except maybe a few, which is honestly saddening. It's honestly mind-boggling. However, might I say, the report, from my acknowledgement, according to Senator Sanders, he was the one who had advocated for, correct me if I'm wrong, Senator Sanders, the addition of the paragraph that said that the president committed high crimes and misdemeanors, correct?
Well, I mean, wait, hold. Sorry, I unmuted myself on the live stream. Not that I that's not entirely true. I was the one who brought up high crimes. I mean, and Brett will corroborate this. I was the one who brought up high crimes and misdemeanors. Brett was the one who wrote that down. I brought it up in regards to the president, and that was before the evidence regarding Nate and Walker had been read. That being said, it's completely what happened and fits exactly. I mean, we have high crimes and misdemeanors for a reason, and this is that exact reason.
Was there an original draft that did not?
There was not an original
crimes and
draft
misdemeanors?
that didn't include. There was not an original. That I brought that up in the conversation of the draft. I mean, there was not multiple drafts. I brought up a couple of amendments which made it more impartial. A number of people in the committee wanted to include a recommendation for impeachment within the report, as alongside a number of other recommendations or opinions. I felt very strongly, and was the only person who felt very strongly, that opinions should not be included in this report, and I fought very hard for this report to be simply an impartial report on what happened and the crimes identified within. It's up to the legislature to take control. It's up to the legislature to determine whether or not high crimes and misdemeanors, as outlined in the report, is actually there. I mean, that's why we brought the report here.
Was there a motion to add the script into the
script,
or the paragraph into the report?
Well, first of all, it's a number of paragraphs. I mean, they lay out
the paragraph explicitly stating, because I mean, if I've looked through it,
one paragraph.
Most of the times, the president.
The paragraph explicitly stating the president's high crimes and misdemeanors, or the 3 paragraphs stating the vice president's high crimes and misdemeanors. There was no motion. There was no motion
paragraph
for any of those. I mean, we had a committee. A committee runs, especially Senate committees. I mean, I'm sure you know this. Run on unanimous behavior. I can't say that other word. Never have been able.
Unanimity. I can't say it either.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous word that I can only type. They run off of unanimous behavior. I'll just say that, and that's to ensure, every side is heard and as impartial as anything can be. There was no motion made. You don't necessarily vote on anything. We all
was at one time was the other senators on the committee in disagreement with you, and
with the high
and
crimes
you
and
were the one.
misdemeanors?
Yes.
No, there was not a single voice of dissent in terms of high crimes, in terms of the crimes outlined in the committee. And as I can recall,
I can testify to that.
And
The administrators were in the chat as an independent voice.
Right, true.
Yeah,
you are there and you
that
have
is
a
correct.
voice. And
No
I
one
think you can also
dissented to high crimes and misdemeanors.
I think you can also
any...
testify to there wasn't necessarily any dissent. There was some grammatical dissent, mostly. 100% from me. Again, all based off of keeping opinions, recommendations out of the legislation, because that is what we are here to do right now. That's what the motion that you objected. That's what the motion that you
There was
objected
only
to is supposed to
dissent
do.
on language. There was no disagreement on really the context of high crimes.
The content was 100% agreed upon, and if I may say so myself, Senator Cawthorn did and others did a phenomenal job investigating this, and I wouldn't put that into question.
Right. Thank you. So, in the committee, of course, as stated by Senator Sanders, it's unanimous. Now, we all understand how parliamentary function works when it comes to unanimous motions and so forth, and unanimous agreement. So, I mean, it could be argued, let's say, he had to appeal to some members through the unanimous rule for the committee. But I think that the committee had to appeal to certain members. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't hear that word.
As a standard, it's quite all right. But when it comes to this, I would say that, as I said, the committee had to appeal, and this all boils down to me to vendettas and egos. We look at it. Some people, I will not specify who.
No, I think you should.
Some of whom you may know, have a target on the president. We know this. We are not blind. We are not fooled. Now, on this subject, we have people claiming, now some that we may know, certain recordings, certain transcripts, that, hey, their place was the presidency. The presidency was theirs. It's their job to be president. Now, this is all fueled by a massive ego that can't be
Mr.
controlled.
President, point of order.
And frankly,
Sorry,
it's
Mr.
saddening.
President,
It's
parliamentary inquiry.
horrific. It's awful.
Senator Sanders is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have my parliamentary inquiry is based on the filibuster which we are experiencing right now. Can we vote to? Can I motion to end this filibuster? Is that possible?
It is possible.
Okay.
Is there an objection?
Even in an objection, we would
What was
vote.
the motion?
We would vote to end the filibuster. So the objection would just send it to a vote. Mr. President, I motion to end the filibuster of Senator
Mr.
Bennett.
Chair,
Senator Bennett.
what was the motion on him?
Senator Sanders.
Well, if I may just explain as well why it's a filibuster.
Please.
We're in the middle of motion, so I forget exactly what the term is, but we're in the middle of a parliamentary proceeding. Senator Bennett obviously has the complete right to speak on the Senate floor and say whatever he wishes. I also have the right to identify what he is doing right now as a filibuster of the proceedings that are which we are in the middle of. And that is exactly, sorry, I just cut out there for a second, of the proceedings which we are in the middle of. And I want to respond to what Senator Bennett has to say. I'm not going to do so right now because I would like to go on to the motion so we can have that conversation, Mr. Bennett. With that, I motion to move forward to
Mr. Chair, Mr. President,
Senator
would it be possible for me to have a rebuttal?
Yes.
Some time. 2 minutes, please.
2 minutes. Yes, sir.
It's no way in a filibuster. I just figured I could get my points out, which I haven't even finished before we moved on, because in case the debate got heated, I could have my time to say what I.
But we're
say.
not moving on from the debate, though, Senator. Like, the debate is still going on. This is a motion. This is a motion to move forward.
I'm aware.
We have to. I mean, in terms of the motion on impeachment, which is the motion one behind us. That motion is only a motion to vote on it, like to move forward on debate. So, like, if you want to debate on that motion, then you would support that motion. Like, do you understand how we see it as a filibuster when you're filibustering the motion, which would open up the debate for the motion on impeachment?
Absolutely, but I mean, that was nearly finished what I'm saying, but we can go on to the motion. I will just state it later. I mean, I have no problem doing that.
Okay. All right, Mr. President, with that, I'm going to revoke my motion to end the filibuster and re-motion to open up debate on the impeachment, on the recommendation for the Speaker to open up an impeachment inquiry without objection.
Without objection, the motion is agreed to.
Senator Bennett, I'll let you go first.
Senator Bennett is recognized for, is it still 2 minutes?
No, sir. No. No,
Senator
Mr.
Bennett is
President.
recognized for as much time as he may consume.
But as I was saying, we have people claiming that who have always had something against the president. And frankly, I think we're looking over all the other individuals in the report. However, I will say, I have these recordings, these transcripts that just show that this has been basically brewing for a while now. We look at it. We have sitting senators conspiring against the administration up until, let's see, September, it was around September 1st, August 29th, August 28th, those areas. And frankly, it's a shame. Ever since the beginning, this has been happening. And frankly, they're getting exactly what they wanted. And now with that, we can move forward with the motion as I said. And I mean, you can recommend the go ahead.
Senator Sanders is recognized.
Feel free to if you, Mr. My Well, Mr. President,
Senator Bennett.
may I have as much time as I would need to respond to this?
The senator is recognized for as much time as he may consume.
Senator Sanders, my problem is not with the committee. We all know a committee of unanimous consent has to appeal to certain members, as stated previously, and I went over. We do have to appeal to certain individuals with certain types of egos. We've been over this. Frankly, okay. First of all, you've stated that you've never had a distaste for the president. You've never said anything foul. No, I mean, I would hope you have no connections to the person. I would hope. Yes. Pardon? Who? Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Uh, who was I referring to? When I had said, who was I like inferring that you had connections to? No, but you stated it 2 times in that conversation. Who was it? I've I've never said anything about stop still. Yes, it is. Separate. Well, we all know we we eh, we as
Senator Sanders, if I can quickly remind you, please, you're on Senator Sanders. Sorry, Senator Sanders. You were on Senator Bennett's time.
um as
All
I
right,
was
Senator
saying,
Bennett, you are now recognized.
this whole vendetta goes before the stop the steal. I wasn't even referring to the quote stop the steal. You know, that whole crowd, that whole event. But we all know where bad blood is. You know, going back to the mock election days, we all know it, and it further illustrates this distaste for the president and the certain recordings, which I will have out by my office within the hour. And it will show to the American people that, frankly, this smokescreen, that there is nothing of a substance that shows otherwise, that there is not a conspiracy to, or not, no, excuse me, not conspiracy. There is a movement to derail this administration to the furthest extent. I mean, as I said, the recordings will show and they'll be released within the hour, and the American people will see it. And Mr. President, I yield my time.
The senator yields. Senator Sanders is recognized for as much time as he may consume.
my mic was cut out in the left. Sorry, I had to fix that. But just for the live stream, I'm gonna say it. I'll just say the gist again. Everything that you said is just sort of ridiculous. I mean, where this conspiracy is when, according to you, going back to Mech, when both Brett and Aaron have been friends with your brother since then and supported his candidacy both times. When Michael Sturgis supported his candidacy in season 7, when the committee was 4-1 Terry supporters. Where this conspiracy is, I don't know, and I look forward to hearing these elusive recordings. I look forward to continuing this investigation. And again, just for the live stream, I think it's quite disappointing that you wouldn't say whose ego supposedly corrupted this report, B, elaborate on the conspiracy which you talked about, and C, I think it's most disturbing that if you had evidence of a conspiracy against the president, that you wouldn't have shown it earlier, and that you waited until the committee had finished its findings, finished its